Dear college football, as a native New Englander, a deep natural passion for football at the collegiate level is not something we're necessarily born with. In the Northeast, Friday Night Lights is viewed more as just another youth sport opposed to a way of life. In Boston specifically, the major college football program in the area has been up and down at best. But that did not deter me from acquiring an affinity for the sport early on and covering it later on. Coach, right here, to your right, Mark Dondero, WCBI-TV, Columbus, Mississippi. Congratulations on winning this ball game.
Thank you.
Personally, this is where it all started. Tom Coughlin in Boston College downing Lou Holtz in top-ranked Notre Dame in South Bend. Then, 1997 happened.
And the winner, from Michigan, Charles Woodson.
Which might have been around the time I started watching Coach. I saw the Florida State game that year and was hooked.
A tremendous victory over the Seminoles of Florida State.
I also became infatuated with Charles Woodson. The athleticism and playmaking ability was off the charts. He made me a Michigan fan through the Drew Henson, Tom Brady era.
Brady's the guy with the experience. He's the captain. 10 wins last year.
In fact, I was probably the first person in New England with a Tom Brady jersey. I devoured his victory against Ohio State at the Big House.
Walker again. Got it. Michigan leads it.
And over Alabama in the Orange Bowl.
Now he's going deep to Terrell. Touchdown.
There we go.
But it was 1998 where the game really changed.
ABC Sports proudly presents exclusive coverage of the National Championship game. It's the grand finale of the Bowl Championship Series.
College football finally implemented a system that featured a championship game in an effort to avoid the scenario that unfolded in 97 where Michigan and Nebraska never got a chance to match up. 1998 was the same year that Ricky Williams exploded. He set records, won the Heisman, and had an epic performance in the Cotton Bowl. Williams put me officially all in on college football. Ricky's season was even more impressive than what Ron Dane did the next year. The BCS National Championship game then put Peter Warrick on my radar. I couldn't watch that guy enough for the next year. That was until being exposed to Michael Vick.
See, they call ball play here. Here's the blitz. Vick dodges out. Look at him run. Oh, my gosh. Foot race. He's got one man to beat, and he's got a shield downfield. Michael Vick. Amazing.
Vick tried to do in the 2000 Sugar Bowl to Florida State what Vince Young did do to USC years later in the Rose Bowl. To this day, no quarterback has changed football more than Vick. And speaking of game changers, how about the Miami Hurricanes in 2001? The greatest college football team of all time. That BC was this close to beating in Chestnut Hill. Would that have been the greatest upset ever? And the Eagles almost pulled it off too without their starting running back William Green, who was an absolute beast in 2001. Miami would go on to dominate the national championship game that year in what was sweet vindication after not getting a chance to play Oklahoma for the title in 2000.
The 13-yard line. Receive back. Has time. Goes to the end zone.
Despite having beaten Florida State during the regular season. I was rooting against Miami in the Fiesta Bowl that next year and was happy when one-hit wonder Maurice Clarett and Ohio State took them down. Had Mo Clarett not tried to make the unsuccessful jump to the NFL early, maybe Ohio State would have matched up with Mike Williams and USC in the Rose Bowl that next year instead of Michigan. Williams and Heisman winner Carson Palmer helped usher in Pete Carroll's dynasty at SC.
Here's Reiner deep in the end zone. Touchdown.
And if that guy comes back, this might be a Trojan dynasty that's going to last a long time.
Young looking around, wants to throw and gets away and scores. Unbelievable.
Yes, sir. We'll be back.
I'm going with Texas Longhorns. Hook up.
A run that was eventually derailed by Texas in the greatest college football game ever.
He's going for the corner. He's got it. There's a lot of passion, a lot of pride. I'm proud of these kids. High school football in the state of Texas.
Which was the final game ever called by the greatest to ever do it in college football, which capped off the greatest season of all time.
Now you back out. Second down and 9. Got a lot of time. Throws in zone. Cut. Touchdown, Texas!
Reggie Bush was ridiculous in 2005. He made Darren McFadden and Adrian Peterson look stiff. Steve Slayton and Ted Ginn Jr. look slow.
Look at this guy, the wizard of returns.
By this point, I was intoxicated by college football.
There's the blitz. Touchdown, Lehman. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Everything from recruiting
Tennessee, University of Oklahoma,
to ESPN's College Game Day.
It's the first ever 1-versus-2 collision in this rivalry.
To the NCAA football video games. I even consume college football all-star games.
Brady Quinn does it again.
I cared when Boston College rose to number 2 in the polls on Thursday Night Football in October 2007. And I certainly cared the next 2 seasons when Alabama and Florida squared off in the SEC championship game. The nation's best recruiting classes and most talented rosters on the Georgia Dome field in the capital of the South for the championship of the sport's deepest conference. That was college football nirvana and a wet dream for Paul Feinbaum.
Here's Gilbert, that inside shuttle pass, and incomplete, or is it a fumble? Picked up by Darius. Darius in the air. Darius going for the end zone. That could be a touchdown.
Especially when you consider the Alabama-LSU matchups that occurred in the years that followed. The BCS era then went out with a bang when Auburn, who was trying to win their second national title in a 4-year span, lost to Florida State in the 2013 Fiesta Bowl. That classic gave way to the college football playoff. This way, an undefeated SEC team would never again not get a chance to play for the national championship, which I was in favor of, until I noticed 2 things start to happen. First was the emergence of incredibly lopsided playoff games. And although we have seen some epic matchups in the national championship,
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
the semifinal round has simply featured too many non-competitive blowouts. The other drawback to the CFP is that it's turned the rest of the bowl season into glorified spring games.
Wow. Michigan at the 41. What a hit! Ball's free! On the ground!
The top prospects are prepping for the NFL draft, and there just simply isn't enough talent on the field outside of the New Year's Six. As a result, some of those classic bowl games we've seen in years past aren't as available anymore. And when the playoff goes to 12 teams, it will take things to another level.
Four-man Alabama rush. Got him. No, they didn't. How about that?
Some of the biggest regular season games we've seen in recent memory would matter a lot less.
Touchdown! Auburn!
Major upsets in September or October would no longer ruin seasons, but serve as just a teensy hiccup for a team destined for a playoff game. Sure, this is great for programs like UCF or Boise State, but despite some impressive seasons in recent years, a G5 team or a middle-tier BCS conference school is simply not going to run through multiple SEC juggernauts filled with five-star guys on their way to a national title. The type of parity you see in the NFL and March Madness simply does not exist in college football because the talent gap is too wide. Listen, I'll always appreciate rivalry games, in-state rivalry games, and Army versus Navy, but I liked it better when only one conference routinely put up arena football scores, and when every game, every Saturday, meant everything.